Good morning, everybody. I'm here with
Good morning.
Gustavo of Collabberry, and we are recording this conversation for Coherence 2025. We are going to be talking about how might we integrate Collabberry that Gustavo is working on into Coherence, into the big Coherence actually, because we are finishing now our MVP round and already gathering feedback slowly. Gustavo today will give me some of his feedbacks and will tell me where does he think this is going to go, also where does he think it should go. I already know what this conversation is going to be about because it already happened.
Don't spoil the conversation, Alex. Well, in any case, hello everyone. Super thankful to you, Alex, to this invitation. Thankful for Coherence, for the work that you guys are doing, and yes, looking forward to just go on our topic.
You. The topic is Coherence Collabberry.
Okay. So, hello, Alex. I will start by asking you what is your role in Coherence?
What is my role in Coherence? Thank you for that question. I guess I am something like engagement orchestrator, like, yeah, basically somebody that designs ways in people plug into this project.
Okay, so what I read from that is your role is actually to work with people for them to find a role within Coherence. Does that make sense?
You can say that as well. I would say that the initial task that I took upon myself was to design these processes so that everybody can go through these processes, and then it served like a recruitment at the end of the day, because we filtered out several people who really actually got the point, right? And yeah, and now deepening conversations.
Nice. So I'm reading that you are the perfect person in Coherence for me to have this conversation then, because I already have the conversation with Victor about Collabberry and how to use Collabberry. We are going to, like, for example, Collabberry, I would like to do it like in a very practical terms, not to explain the concept, but to explain how it will be actually be working with Coherence. So
Sure.
that's nice. And the reason why I'm sharing that you are the perfect person for that, for me to engage with, to start, let's say, this campaign of bringing Collabberry into Coherence, is because the first thing that we ask teams when they are using the tools is for them to have a role definition. And not only the role, but also what are the responsibilities, right? Ergo, what a contributor, like for example, what Alex is bringing to this collective construct that in this case we are calling Coherence. This company, this DAO, this organization, this community, this whatever, this collective construct that is formed by individuals that are bringing some value with a role, with a hat, and with a set of responsibilities that we will explain down, and we will need to document that, of course, in order to create transparency and a signal point for people to understand well what each one of their co-contributors is doing.
This is amazing, and this is the part that we didn't have this time at all.
Okay, and that usually is just to have a conversation. Once we have someone like the source, that is Victor, that he's the one in charge of keeping the alignment and especially in early stage, to set what are the priorities and where the team is moving forward. Then we need this part more operational, more functional, of having the team's configuration defined. It's just a definition process. We already know who we are.
Mm-hmm.
We already know what we want to become.
Mm-hmm.
Collabberry enters in a moment where we need to define what individuals are bringing to this whole. What are the part of each one of these persons to achieve the collective goal?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so and as we define in our tool, well, it's not that we define in our tool. Teams define that and they log that into our tool, meaning that they are logging what are their contributions, what is the value that an individual is bringing to a team.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, then we also need to build up what is the team giving back to the individual.
Yeah.
Okay, it's an agreement process. It's
Yeah.
I give the collective this, and the collective will give me that. And when we deal with this part, in most of the cases, as I assume it will be in the coherence case,
Mm-hmm.
it will be more than a direct value, it will be a promise.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay, just an accounting point on a ledger that will recognize how much contribution each one of us is putting on the table in relation to each other. Okay, so Collabberry, what it does is to distribute the cake according to each people's value. So that's the initial agreement. And then we enter in the cyclic phases of peer reviewing.
Mm.
Okay, meaning like once a month, for example, people in the team will go to the Collabberry tool.
Yeah.
They will be able to read what are the co-contributors agreements,
Yes.
and based on that, express an opinion, express a very subjective rating on how their co-workers perform during this cycle.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, meaning if I read Alex's agreement and I noticed that in this last cycle, Alex was a rock star and she actually over delivered regarding what, in my subjective view, I was expecting from Alex, I will give Alex 5 stars because Alex rocks. Then if with Jacob, I realized that he underperformed, I will give him 1 star because, hey, you actually did less than what I was expecting from you.
Sure.
So this is a process that is done by everyone in the team. So it's a really peer-to-peer review method that is aggregating all this information. And we aggregate both like quantitative data in terms of stars from 1 to 5, 1 meaning underperformance, 5 meaning overperformance, 3 stars meaning you did what I was expecting you to do. And we aggregate all this data, and we have an algorithm that, together with initial parameters configuring this agreement and what I'm expecting from the organization. For example, I would expect $10,000 for my job because this is what another company will pay me for a month of work. Let's say, but in this case, I just believe in coherence promise, and I know that this is going to be even more value in the future. This is completely speculative things of investing my sweat into coherence in this example. And then with these values and input, with the continuous peer reviews as a process, then each month we're going to give an outcome of a number of team points, of coherence points that will represent the right to claim whatever benefit coherence will deliver in the future. And
And
with this,
sorry.
yeah, with this, just some example for that. This can be equity in Coherence if equity decides to be an equity-based company. It can be dividends for future benefits. It can be rights for grants if you just go to profit ways, and this is a way just to retroactively pay what people have been contributing for that. If Coherence, it will be delivering a utility, for example, utility for the Coherence platform for people to get access to a wonderful community, and you can contabilize that into a token. It can be also a utility token that people could put in secondary markets, but it is just going into deeper level of complexities that is not important to work on today. To speak about that. But the important thing is like whatever Coherence decides to do in the future, or however Coherence decides to distribute this value in form of equity or in forms of promise for future benefits, in case of grants, for example, people in the team will have a process that it's optimizing for fairness and to attribute value in a way that everyone's will be okay in that, because in the whole process, everyone has been part of how value is actually defined and distributed in a team. This is what Collabberry does.
All right, perfect. So I have two questions, and you can choose in which order would you like to answer. First is, for which types of organizations Collabberry is in general, and second, if you can maybe show me screenshots or screencast, or sorry, like share the screen and show me this in yeah, so that I can have it in front of my eyes, and these points, where do you collect them, and how the allocations, these ratings look like. Yeah, that would be great.
Absolutely. So I'm going to start sharing for what kind of organization this is. Can you follow me? Yeah.
Yeah, you have a host now. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So regarding to your question about what type of organization this is for, this is for whatever type of organizations. If you are a group of people willing to work together towards a common purpose, Collabberry is for you. The only type of organizations that I see not fitting, where I see Collabberry not fitting, is where people don't care about their outcome. When there is just a complete giving or volunteer motive behind, where, listen, I just want to contribute, I just want to collaborate, I'm not expecting anything in exchange, I'm here just fully for altruistic reasons, and I don't need any points of accounting to get back to me, maybe Collabberry is not for you. And as you can guess, this. Yeah?
Yeah, tell me. As I can guess.
I lost the idea. Like, sorry, as you can guess, like, this has a very specific niche of volunteering that in most of the cases, or if there is some value that they are giving it for a very, let's say, altruistic cause, like, I don't know, cleaning a beach, for example, like I don't need to account for any form of value if I'm just contributing for cleaning a beach in my neighborhood. But whenever there is an expectation of value and a need for quantification of the same, Collabberry is covering a really important function.
Where did you
Does
send
that
me the
make
screenshot?
sense?
Or it does, yeah.
I haven't
Can you
sent
share
you
the screen?
I haven't sent you the screenshot yet. I'm going to do it now.
Can you share the screen and show it so that we also have it on the video?
Yes. I'm sharing in this
Oh,
moment.
this is what I wanted to see. Yeah, exactly. Now, can you give me
Yeah.
like a walk?
Absolutely. This is the dashboard. This is my personal dashboard in my organization Collabberry. Okay. Here you can see the amount of team points that I've earned. This is the total amount of team points that are distributed in our organization. And this I haven't talked about yet, but there is also a function to put fiat, to put some stable coins in the system and works together with the value that we are defining. And this is just the percentage of my personal team points regarding the total team. So I can show you here, for example, in the team. In our case, we are a team of 5 people. And here we can see a small representation of each other's agreements.
Good.
I can
This is yours,
show
right?
you right now what is mine. My role is CEO, in just more fancy way to explain what a CEO is.
Beautiful.
More like an orchestrator rather than a boss. And here I'm just stating what are my responsibilities. I'm leading the team and the strategic vision. I'm also doing business development and partnerships. I'm leading the community culture and the storyteller with some bullet points there for each one of these areas, crossing strategic catalyst. Okay, so this is everything that I do. In my case, I'm doing that 50% of my time, so 20 hours a week.
Yeah.
Okay, and this is my market rate per month, like how much I want to earn, right? And this is my price, not for the 50%. Okay, but this is my price set for the 10%, meaning that the total compensation will be something like 5,000. And here in this case, if our company will have some money to be spent on the team, I can put my salary in fiat that will be discounted from these 5,000 things at the moment of making the cancellation. For my case, I'm not going to save any of this because I'm not changing my agreements. And another important thing, maybe let me check if maybe I have the assessment ready. No, there is not an ongoing round because the assessment is just done in a very specific time window of the month, which is not open today. Again, this is a production real life case. But that doesn't matter. I can show you here the results, and by the results you can intuit a little bit how is the user interface when people are rating each other. For example, Nikki here, he gave me 3 stars on my cultural impact and 4 stars on my work contribution, and he fed me back on what I did well and what I could improve. So it's not only about the qualitative data that we are giving to each person. It's not only about the quantitative value that each person is perceiving among each other. It's also about the qualitative value. And this unblocks, Alex, a lot of potential, just this thing, because what we are doing here is just enabling a continuous mirror in the interrelations between any organization. And this is an amazing input that people may have in order to understand how they are perceived by their coworkers, and therefore to build their personal strategy on what I can do better to work better for this whole, for this team. This increments engagement, this aligns incentives, and this also prevents conflict. In our product vision, we're going to put some AI agents here in the middle, and that will cover a lot of the human resource functions that traditional organizations are covering through huge payrolls and HR people in their teams.
And is there anything else you want to show me here?
No. Anything else is just back to the dashboard, because this is actually the output. There are other settings here that are important to understand. Like here we configure where the compensation, where the period, where the cycle starts, and this is a very important value, the period assessment way. This is how much it defines the minimum of them or the maximum percentage where the compensation will increase or decrease. So this is the variation parameter, meaning that if my market rate, let's assume that I'm 100% in my role and my market rate is 10,000. If the average of my score is 1 star on that specific period, I will receive 20% of that, so 8,000. Or if I have 5 stars, I will receive 12,000.
I see. Okay.
And then there is also some multipliers that each organization can configure as they want. We have set that time contribution multipliers on 2, meaning that instead of those 8,000 that I will have earned in the case of just 1 star average, I will receive 2 times that, so 26,000. And this is just to set a reference for teams on how much their value is worth in time, because what we are doing here, we are asking people to invest their time and effort in this shared company instead of just being paid. Like when you go and work in an organization, you're just paid by the salary, so you're not putting any stake on the game, right? So this is just a way to give people like, hey, we are even increasing this amount of team points per 2. And this start just already to set, let's say, metrics for how much we want this company to value in the future. Of course, like this is super speculative. Like here with these numbers, we are practically saying that we have worked almost $500,000, and we have invested in this company $500,000 from our sweat. And this is a metric that can be used for teams for bootstrapping when if they want to look for investment, for example. And this is like a clear metric that they have to show to investors, like, hey, we want to go to market and our price for investors is like $10.1. But this is also subject to negotiation. Maybe an investor will tell you, hey, maybe $1 is too much, give me 75 cents, right? Or even less. And this is subject to negotiations, investment negotiations, basically. It's just offering a new way to organizations to bootstrap when they want to go for funding. We still need to test that out. I'm at the moment, this is the work that I'm doing to to build up the math and the formulas and the negotiation, let's say,
Sure.
yeah, the negotiation inputs or the expectations of those negotiations and how much to offer value, how to cap this minting of tokens in the future when this first transaction is done.
Mhm.
There are a lot of complexities that I'm not prepared today to
Okay, my dear, maybe
to
you
talk
can
about.
switch off the screen. I would like to see your face. Yes, perfect. And I have a question. So, uh, why this was not implemented in Coherence in the first place?
I know, right? I know. This is the first thing everything should be working with. The reason that I got why this is was not implemented in the team in the first place is because people need to understand this first of all. So for people to understand this, you need to gather the collective attention of the people on this, and it's not only to understand this in 1 hour presentation or half an hour presentation that I can do this. Is also to engage into the mental process to make people to define, okay, this is my role, this is my accountability, these are my responsibilities, and this is how much I'm expecting from the team to pay me back. So that's the first mental process that each individual needs to engage with. After that, they need to go together with the team and revise each other proposals for their roles and contributions, and also to comment that on each other. So because maybe I'm saying there is a process of valuation where we need to be sure that we are in the same reference. And if I say, hey, my value per year is 100K, and Alex, if your value per year is 150K, it's like, okay, why Alex is that more valuable, right? And it's not only a person to Gustavo to Alex conversation; it's a collective conversation.
Sure, sure, sure.
Okay, and that demands attention
Yeah,
from the
to be
team.
processed. Yeah, of course. Yeah, and we didn't have time for that, obviously. Okay, now I get it. No, because it
Mm-hmm.
feels that this is somehow, but we've been learning and we've been experimenting, right? So it was a different approach, simply. And so, do you have any questions for me?
Yes. When do you want to implement this in Coherence?
uh, how I'm seeing that, I mean, as I said before we started recording, we are now finishing this one, right? So not really planning so much like ahead before we gather feedbacks and learnings and harvest everything that we can. And then we can sit and start planning the next steps. And
Mm-hmm.
I would say that I've been refraining from actually envisioning anything. I've been listening to Victor and his vision, asking for the questions rather than commenting on it already. I have my own ideas. I remember Victor saying
Mm-hmm.
once that he is kind of like frustrated working with co-stewards, that he thinks that basically we need to get money and build a team and start paying people right away. Then things will work faster like that. And
Yes.
I can understand that why he's thinking in this way. At the same time, what you presented, I guess it is a perfect tool that can boot up organization from the co-steward perspective, because the value that co-steward delivers will be captured, right? And we didn't have it here. And maybe this is the
Mm-hmm.
frustration, right? Because we didn't have roles, we didn't have accountability. Co-stewards were kind of like, yeah, who who knows what am I getting from it, if anything, right? So basically, in this way, it's difficult to get people's motivations. So in general, I'm thinking that the idea of having co-stewards is not a bad one, just that it has to be organized more precisely.
Yeah, I want to think that this was the genius conscious or unconscious picture,
Mhm.
bringing this type of configuration in order to feel in first line the frustration that build up then the need or the necessity to use tools like this.
Mm-hmm.
But this is just my view on that topic.
Mm-hmm.
But you're right. You're right. Just having this tool, and even if people are not receiving money, just the fact that they are receiving month by month numbers in an account that belongs to them, it's a psychological support
Yeah.
for them to keep engagement and to build things forward. It is a psychological support. The only thing is that right now money is accepted form of value
Yeah.
that give also that psychological support,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
right? And in this case, we or each team just need to work their way forward to actually delivering value
Yeah.
to
Yeah. Yeah.
the broader ecosystems in order to capture value back and start paying people money or with tokens that they can use for getting a coffee or a pizza in
Of
the
course.
neighborhood bar,
Mm-hmm. Okay.
right?
I think I know enough basically to know how to plug it into planning that I will be involved with. Mm. Doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. I would like to ask you still a few questions about Coherence MVP, your feedbacks. I'm not sure if it is the right space to do that, but since I have you online, maybe we can also.
No, I don't think this is the right space to do that. Also, we also have 10 minutes,
All
and
right.
this
Yeah. Okay.
will be also deeper conversation. So,
Okay. So maybe if you can tell me, how do you imagine we have this one last week, right? How can we finish strong? What would you advise to us to get the most out of the 7 days?
okay, to align on direction. What is the next clear action? To define what has been done so far, because I have seen like there is a whole huge set of possibilities, and to start in a concrete proposition like what is coherence. It's a venture studio. It's a platform for bringing visibility to regenerative projects. It's a event generator. Like, choose one pillar. I know that there might be other tactic things that will support a main vision, and that shouldn't be overviewed. That should be kept there. But what is that core outcome that all these communities of projects, people with towards are actually pushing towards? That's one thing. Another thing, a minimal structure on how to achieve that. And what other thing?
But Gustavo, I have a question. So you think that we should align on direction and achieve minimum viable structure together with all those that we have right now? We are, I think, around 40 projects and co-stewards altogether. So, I'm talking about this stage, this like last week. So I'm wondering if it is the time for actually aligning on direction. I think maybe this is a better idea to do it after we sum up this one, and then we start talking about the big coherence.
Okay. I can share you, for example, in the line of venture studios. I believe in venture studios. I believe that there should be plenty of venture studios out there that are just gathering projects and companies that share the same vision. There is a lack in the space of a regenerative venture studio, and I think that Coherence will perfectly fit that place that today is empty, as far as I know. I don't know. And to build that. And the next question is how to structure this, how to go for money for this, because when we're talking about venture studios, it's just actually having a set of companies, a set of ventures that they are in their own niche looking for something, but there is a meta or broader layer of contribution. So coherence can actually serve as that social or human substrate for different organizations to collaborate each other and to share resources whenever they have them, right? When I talk about the structure, is how do you want to coordinate this effort, assuming that coherence will have funds in 3-6 months from now. How will be the governance of those funds? Is something that will be top down or bottom up from the community towards? Like there, I don't know. I'm just suggesting spaces for discussion there. I don't think like in the last 7 days you will be able to
Exactly. I think this is something for
formalize those
my audience.
discussions.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's still a signal.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
no,
still
no.
a
Thank
signal
you for
to be
sharing.
put
Yeah.
there.
I think it is important because I am going to exactly today going to be preparing the surveys for co-stewards and for projects, and I'm very happy to ask them about like how do they see the future of coherence, what do they think this should be. So you are already replying to that question, and I love the idea about the regenerative venture studio. I believe Victor is calling it a venture family. So
Yeah.
yeah, right.
And again, and this is something that you and me have talked in the past, an onboarding and offboarding procedure. Like, especially in regeneration, we need to know very well what we are planting in our ecosystem and what we need to chop out of us because it's consuming more than what is giving.
Yes.
So, onboarding and offboarding, process are also important there to be present, because right now you're telling me, yeah, 40 startups in our ecosystem. Wow, great number in just 2 months of coherence to be started. But who are these people? How aligned they are with what we are doing? How aligned they are actually with their own proposal? Are these people going to bring some value to the ecosystem, or they are just wimbling in, yeah, I'm going to change the world? I'm not criticizing that. I used to be that guy, but now I'm more boom, boom, boom. I would like to see some action forward.
Of course, I have yesterday heard that somebody refused to, although they were invited, they didn't decide to enter Coherence because they saw that many projects there are like, I would say, not yet capable of delivering regenerative systems change.
Please, yes, we need to reduce the noise out of our life, basically. And we need to drive forward action and real value. These are the principles to any venture, to any regenerative venture, like action and real value. Don't bring me with bullshit, please. Don't bring me bullshit to the table. And this is my personal frustration. I've been in blockchain and the regenerative space for the last 10, 12 years, I don't know. And I'm tired of all bullshit, mainly because I used to be part of that.
Of course.
But I recognize that that was part of my process in order to finally, in the last 2 or 3 years, started
Yeah,
to, from
that's
one
nice.
side, to build real value and also to participate in companies that I collaborated there 3, 4 months, and at the end it was sorry, this is too much bullshit for me. I will move
Yeah.
forward and I will try to be more real.
Yes, 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 yes.
Because the regenerative space is full of trauma, Alex. I know that you know that. And with this, I don't want to say that we should exclude those people. We should still open a space for regeneration of those peoples and projects. But we cannot give them protagonism and to start extracting resources when they are not in a proper position to offer. But maybe they want to offer in the superficie, but in the background they are just extracting more than what they offer. So
Yes, so much.
that is really important if you are building up an ecosystem, and this should be defined in the if it's not defined in the first interaction, at least in the first point one interaction. Like the first thing to go to the another one will be to have an onboarding and an offboarding process.
Beautiful. Gustavo, we have 3 minutes 3 minutes left, 3 minutes to go. Let's record the intro.
Let's record the intro. Okay. I want to be guide here. Please lead me.
Wait. Good morning, everybody. I'm here with Gustavo of Collabberry, and we are recording this conversation for Coherence 2025. We are going to be talking about how might we integrate Collabberry that Gustavo is working on into Coherence, into the big Coherence actually, because we are finishing now our MVP round and already gathering feedback slowly. Gustavo today will give me some of his feedbacks and will tell me where does he think this is going to go, also where does he think it should go. I already know what this conversation is going to be about because it already happened.
Don't spoil the conversation, Alex. Well, in any case, hello everyone. Super thankful to you, Alex, to this invitation. Thankful for Coherence, for the work that you guys are doing, and yes, looking forward to just go on our topic.
You. Hilarious. Oh, thank you so much, dear. It was really lovely. And
Nice.
I hope it will be audible with all those lags, but it's okay. I guess this is how
I think it
we
will be
do it.
good. Yeah.
It doesn't have to be perfect.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the conversation, Alex. Yeah, keep me posted with the review, anything about Coherence. Again, like my advice, and it's not only because I'm selling Collabberry, but my advice is to start the second phase also with this tool. There will be also another phase which will mean to account for the work done so far. And this is also something that can be integrated with Collabberry, and I can guide you there in the process.
All right, amazing.
But again, this will require just people's attention on it.
Good. Gotcha.
Thank you very much, Alex.
Have a lovely day then. And yeah, we see us.
Bye. You too.
Peace. Yeah. Bye.